After sitting in the nether for 10 years, this bedrock pillar has been found. No one knows who placed it or why it was built, but this illegal bedrock is unique compared to others. In the overworld, a base marks backdoor victims, old players' messages, and even a few structures. Today in this video, we'll try to find out who built this location and why it was built in the first place. The story begins on July 13th, 2022. After base hunting in the nether, a player named TockTick randomly found a floating bedrock pillar. Near the bedrock pillar was an ancient but still intact blaze farm. Curiously, TockTick would go into the overworld and stumbled upon a base in a mushroom biome. The overworld base also looked ancient. There was a farm area, a griefed underground section, and the strangest, an obsidian grave structure with signs. The only remaining signs were of players named Sahib_Jihad and DSG3002, with another sign saying they were victims of the 2012 plugin. Out of pure confusion, TockTick would post his discovery on the 2B2T subreddit. Many players were amazed, but also skeptical of the post, and some would ask TockTick to give more information. A day later, I would get a message on Discord. A player named Stash_Hunter would inform me about the Reddit post and gave me TockTick's Discord. He explained the base in the overworld was more than what met the eye. Blocks used to create structures were ancient, and an underground railway station connected to the underground section. I would ask TockTick if he had any screenshots, and he sent a picture of a sign from a player named Shogun, the bedrock pillar, and included coordinates. I was initially skeptical, but if this base supposedly had signs from old players and was during 2B2T's first backdoor, I knew I had to check it out. I would start making my way towards the coordinates, and when I arrived, I saw the bedrock pillar. It was 7 blocks tall, and there was a sign from a player named Chicken that visited on the same day as me. The blaze farm underneath the bedrock pillar was undoubtedly old. It was built out of cobblestone, sticky pistons, and pressure plates. As soon as a blaze spawned and touched a pressure plate, it would be pushed into the middle, allowing the player to farm blazes. The farm in the overworld had been somewhat blown up, but there was still a mix of food, trees, and a wooden house near it. As I continued to explore, I came across an underground staircase entrance. It was griefed, but it led to an empty stone brick room with nether portals on the side and an underwater glass area. Near the underground section had the obsidian gravestones. The signs were still here. The tombstone on the left was Sahib_Jihad. Underneath was another sign saying early January 2012, a victim of the plugin. To the right, another gravestone had a sign from a player named DSG3002, marking November 11th, 1992, and ending on May 3rd, 2012. Nothing else was on the Mushroom Island. The only thing left was the hidden railway tunnel. Conveniently, there was a minecart on the railway already. After 5 minutes of nothing changing, I messaged TockTick about how long it takes to reach the end, and he replied it wasn't that long. After a minute, a chest was in the middle of the tunnel, filled with cobblestone. More minutes would pass, and then the railway stopped. I would then fly to the end with an elytra. At the end was a staircase leading up to a plains biome. No trails were leading to anything else, but near the plains biome was a jungle and a house. As I entered, I noticed that whoever built this house had endstone, which would have been a rare block in 2012. There were also still original items in the chests and furnaces. After some exploring, I found signs from the players Shogun and Awesome Rain. Shogun said to take whatever was left at the base, meaning that he was most likely one of the builders of this location. Now that I have a lead, I would ask old players on Discord if they knew about this base or had any contact with Shogun. I would first contact Offtopia. He has been playing 2B2T since early 2011 and would probably have some information about this base. After sending him information, he would reply, "Building on mushroom islands around that time was typical for Pop Bob. This screenshot shows one of Pop Bob's far out bases, and the underwater structure looks like something Pop Bob would build. The other thing is the room with endstone, which is kind of rare. The end was on/off accessible by the owner of 2B2T, Housemaster, and most players could not obtain endstone. I would then ask him about the players on the obsidian gravestones. The obsidian gravestones also might be a hint. I remember that one name, DSG3002, was a common player during that time. I would ask around for the contacts of Shogun. I had him on Skype, but I don't use Skype anymore. My guess is PopBob or Passio5 that built this base. However, after messaging Passio5, he had never seen this base before. To figure out how to get in contact with Shogun, I would message old players that would be close to him, but had no luck. I would then contact XCC2. If anyone could give information about the Bedrock, it would be him. During the 2012 backdoor, PopBob gave XCC2 and a few other players access to spawn any item they desired by using a mod called Too Many Items. After sending him information about the Bedrock pillar, he responded, "Shogun was a friend. I visited several of his bases, but not this one. The one I remember was built on a big platform. It's not surprising that he had Bedrock. He was very active back then. I could have thrown him a few stacks of it at some point." Even though we have information from old players, we still have no idea who built the overworld and placed the Bedrock pillar. Only theories. The Bedrock pillar could have either been PopBob or Shogun, since they would have unlimited amounts. My best guess with the overworld is that sometime during the beginning of the 2012 backdoor, PopBob would find a mushroom island, create a farm, build the underground section to store supplies, and add nether portals to go back and forth after griefing and looting bases. PopBob would then write down the names of all the victims griefed during the backdoor. Eventually, Shogun found a location, took all the supplies from the underground section, and destroyed the gravestone signs, leaving only the 3 that remained untouched for years. But this is only a theory, and if you think something else happened, feel free to leave a comment. About a week after I visited the Bedrock pillar, a Polish YouTuber named Peter would venture to the Bedrock pillar and create a house in the overworld. I would also stream a few days later to see the aftermath. Eventually, more players would visit the Bedrock pillar, bringing more publicity and griefers. On April 1st, a group known as the Breakery would destroy most of the Bedrock pillar. Today, the Bedrock pillar remains a mystery. No one knows who or why this location was built, but that's with most bases on 2B2T. They were built simply for fun.